Hey guys, Coach Jan here. I hope you're having a great 2024 so far. Today we're going to do three different sets of exercises. One, we're going to do push hands. My lady and I are going to do some four push, Wu style push hands. Two, we're going to do shadow boxing. Shadow boxing, I'm going to be doing boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, just mixing it up with everything that I know and that I do. And then finally, we're going to stretch. So it'll be 20, 20, 20, about that for an hour. It's going to be great. I want to respond to, I got a comment on one of the trainings that I post like this on my YouTube channel after the fact, after I go live on TikTok. And the post was really just along the lines of like, what are you doing? Like Tai Chi guys can't fight, blah, blah. First of all, like I view Tai Chi as a tool, a human performance tool to slow yourself down and speed up your perception. So all the other things that I do, such as boxing, Sancho, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, etc., benefit from my Tai Chi. And I encourage you, if you're a person that makes these kind of comments, to research, like research me, just like look me up and look at like the kind of stuff that I do, the people I work with. I've fought pros in my lifetime several times, and I'm very grateful for all these experiences. But there's a reason that I train the way I train, and I love sharing this stuff. I do my best to take the fight out of my training, because my training is and I'll explain what I mean by that, but the training is for health and longevity and joy, and you should always be able to turn the switch and be practical and stand up for what is right in life, or what needs to be defended in your life. So obviously martial arts has a massive importance there in my life, but you shouldn't train to fight every day like that. You shouldn't be sparring more than twice a week. That's just unhealthy, so I highly recommend just taking the approach of using the movements, the breath work and visualization, if you do that at all. A lot of martial artists don't use breath work and visualization, which is actually like will stunt the growth of your training. I highly recommend taking up some modality, whether it's Tai Chi or something else, that helps you breathe, not just through the movements, but visualize through the movements, so that you can find greater depth and greater experience mapping, using the visualization to map inside your own body and to find deeper sensitivity towards your opponent, which helps you as an empathy, in terms of as a tool. Empathy as a strategic tool is a major component of how I coach Tai Chi push hands on the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team, which I was captain of and coached for many years. And how that bridges into grappling, how that bridges into caring about the weight that you carry, whether that's a person's body that you're going to body slam into the ground, or a child. I have a son, and that helped me immensely. So having a child, caring about my child, their body, their posture on my body. I just put out, actually every day I'm releasing right now, a training video from when my son was 9 months old, and how I integrated him into my training, and how that revolutionized my perspective of weight, carrying my child, making sure that he was okay while I'm doing kicks, while I'm doing boxing footwork, while I'm doing a whole bunch of training exercises. It's awesome. So that's on YouTube right now, and I dropped a trailer of it on my TikTok as well. So yeah, I do this training for joy. I do it for longevity, and I love sharing it with you. So we're going to do it right now. We're going to go into Tai Chi push hands, the four push, not the freestyle, the sport, the freestyle grappling Tuishou that I love. That's not what we're doing right now. We're doing the exercises that help you to graduate to that, which is the sensitivity drills, the flexibility drills. My girlfriend and I are going to do that right now. So
can we do a little of the freestyle?
Maybe we'll do a little of the freestyle. Depends on how we feel. It's not really necessary, but we could probably show some of that. But you guys, like, if you follow what I do, what we do, you see a lot of that. So there's, I have like 3 videos coming out per day on that kind of stuff. So right now, 4 push Wu style basic push hands drill. This is the most valuable drill that I've done in my entire life of any Tai Chi push hands drill. And this is going to be great. So let's just go right here, a little closer, make sure we're on camera. Great. So to do this, if you have a partner, just first and foremost, you can do this on your own. So let's just show them how to do this on your own. So here's how you do it on your own, and we're going to do it together first after this. So you're going to stand here. Actually, we'll start with the hands, palms facing out. Your foot the foot that I'm braced on, notice I can pick up my leg all the way. So all my weight's on my back leg, and my toes of my back leg are facing forward, same as my heart. So I shift my weight, and I'm going to keep my feet parallel. One foot's in front of me, but I'm likely going to widen my stance shoulder width. So I'm going to take this foot, pull it out so that it's shoulder width apart. I'm going to have my hands here. I'm going to exhale, push forward, and go into what's called our A-frame. The A-frame, I'll turn to the side, it's going to have a straight line from my back heel to the top of my head. So an imaginary straight line, back heel to the top of my head, and then my nose over my knee, knee over the big toe. My shoulders, hips and shoulders, at first will look square. So they'll look square. Once you have that sense of square, that alignment, you're going to soften the back hip, meaning the hip that is on the extended back leg, and you're going to soften that into the front groin, right here. So you're going to get a little coil going on as you push forward. So you're going to root into that front leg. This is going to help you to transfer 70% of your weight forward and make this posture, it's super helpful for counter wrestling. So this looks like an overextension, it is not. So an overextension is when you're, especially if you lift up the back heel, you may actually get into the overextension mode. You keep this back heel anchored, and there's an idea, like an anchor, heavy on the back heel. So hips and shoulders square at first, soften into this front groin, and then that's push one, and then you're going to do push two. From push one, you wind up to push two, and gently graze the belly of your partner while pressing on their chest. This hand that goes from the belly is going to come right up and aim for the elbow. And you're going to roll back one, and then you're going to roll back two. And then you're going to exhale, push one. Again, you can do this on your own. Exhale even deeper, push two. Inhale, roll back one. Inhale, roll back two from the side. Exhale and push one. Exhale two. Inhale, roll back one. Inhale, roll back two. And from here, now we're going to partner up. So Autumn's going to start with the push, one, then she's going to push two, and then roll back one, and roll back two. So it's 4 move, 2 pushes, 2 rollbacks. This gentle brush here is to remind your partner to sit. So you're brushing the belly, but there's something martial to it as well. You're gaining a lot of sensitivity as you ask the person to guide the person to sit back down. It feels like Autumn was lifting up her back heel, and eventually you'll start to feel those types of adjustments. And that's when you execute throws and things like that. So you're training yourself to feel what it feels like when someone disconnects different parts of their body from the ground or shifts their weight. And also the emphasis on the elbows, very, very important, because you can control the entire body from an elbow. Where the body's going, you can pin an elbow to the body. Versus the wrists, it's very easy for someone to escape and change posture if you're holding their hands or their wrists or their shoulder. It's really elbows and head that help you control the upper body. And when someone's on their back, you're doing jiu-jitsu, etc., controlling the knees is very helpful, controlling the entire body. So we're going to soften up. You don't want to do these exercises with too much strength, too much pressure. You want to gradually and gently increase the pressure so that you don't cause unnecessary reactions in the muscle and in your posture. And when you do this stuff, you're getting this awesome massage on the meridians, on the arms, and the organs, but you're also training yourself to redirect pressure, to yield, but also strategically yield, not just yield and not have a plan. So you're redirecting pressure toward the goal. The goal is to push your partner to the edge so that they almost lose balance, and they can figure out how to regain balance, regain their posture and bring the pressure back to you, and you do the same. Push 2. Another thing is when you start slowing down, you can start to feel what the reactions are. So notice how Autumn moved her shoulder back without me pushing. So you want to really check your reactions. And then, again, just stay connected, and then go back. Another important concept, equally as important as moving without unmotivated. So unmotivated movement in this particular exercise is something that you want to avoid. That doesn't mean that you always employ that concept. There are many times, especially when you do freestyle, that you're going to want to do things like fake and instigate. So unmotivated movement, or seemingly unmotivated movement, is very, very important. But you want to always be intentional when you utilize those types of techniques. And here, we're training very particular skill sets. So the other thing that is equally as important is pushing. Autumn did a great job on it at that time. I was going to call it out earlier. But it's pushing without connecting all the way. And what that means is doing things like this. So I'm pushing without full body power. So connecting all the way really means finding your full body power and how you incrementally increase the pressure and the direction in which you increase the pressure, how that is impacting your opponent.
Sometimes when you go ahead, when you put my arm over, it doesn't feel like I'm able to get the push, the first one. Because
Okay.
you're going over so quickly.
Okay, show me what you mean. Press again.
That, like,
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
you're going over so quickly that I don't feel like I'm able to like get the full push motion. And if I lean forward, you just keep going. So,
Okay.
like,
So,
you know what I mean?
so press again. Instead of pushing from the arms first, because it looks like you're actually testing the waters because of the exact thing you just said. So you're like, hey, you don't feel like you can fully... and so here you gave a lot of body without a lot of arm. So connect the arms and the shoulders. Almost keep the distance consistent. And now move the belly, exhale the belly forward. Keep the heel down. Great. And then tuck the chin to protect your chin. Why are you tucking the chin? Because you don't want to have elbows come up too much. You always want to be able to lift your shoulder, protect your chin, etc. if you need to. So that's one way of
See here, like when you push me on the first push, you're getting in my center of my body. But
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like I'm able to do that on the first push when I push you.
So now you have a first push. So first of all, think about what you want to push. So you want to push on my arm, right? So even if you're here, stay connected here, and now use this angle. You use the angle you have. You actually don't need to reposition at all. Use this angle and exhale and roll exactly. Roll to where you're rolling to my center line. So I'm rolling to your center line wherever I have contact. So it's not so much that I have to switch my arm position for something that seems overtly like an advantageous position. Instead, you want to use the connection that you have and turn it into, use it as a leverage point to disrupt my center line. So that's really what we're going for here. Keep that back heel down. So notice that I'm pushing right through you, even though you're turning me. And I'm yielding enough to turn, but my intention is still here through your center line. And then I unload again into your center line, and then you can respond. So obviously we're very close right now. And so I couldn't use my hand, keep going? I couldn't use my hand here to get that across. her arm across my body and turn. So I had to use right here. This is where people don't really, will start to lose lose their understanding of what they're looking at. So here, I'm rolling the pressure. Notice that I took the pocket of my elbow and I rolled the pressure. This is actually a move in the Tai Chi form, in the Wu style Tai Chi form, in all Tai Chi forms. So if you practice your form, you're going to see all of these postures. And these postures come out in this push hands. If you don't practice the form, then you may not see what the movements are, and therefore it's going to be harder for you to understand what you're looking at, which is essentially using every part of the body, having options for every part of the body to be a point of leverage to redirect the pressure toward the goal. And the goal again is to, we're aiming for the center line of our partners with the intention of pushing them to the edge of their balance. So every single point, almost every single point, can be utilized advantageously. Normally, if it's not an advantageous point, I'll probably lose the point. But that's not always true, because you can always, not always, but there are times where you can just figure out how to turn what seems to be a disadvantage into an advantage. Boom. Right here. Doesn't look like I have anything, but I actually have a lot of stuff. And it's this elbow control that's helped me feel very confident with any martial artist, because most people don't do this, and it's part of how you keep yourself safe. And Autumn's going to do an extra push. 1, 2, one more, 3. And now we've switched arms. Oh yeah, push. And being super clean. And so reminding the partner to always check in with your partner and so reminding the partner to always check in with your partner and sure. And over, yeah. And just feel the protection here. And also notice that you're pulling my arm across. So you don't need to pull my arm at all, but stick to it. Good stuff. So that was a little gentle wave here, and it looks like I'm doing it with the arm. I'm actually doing it with the hips and the belly. And you throw those little surprises in every now and then. It's okay, we'll go one more. You throw those little surprises in every now and then to keep your partner on their toes. So that was me returning Autumn's push. She gave me a hard push to the belly, and I wanted to show her the hard push with the wave. So she did a hard push without a wave, which was a direct hard push like this. Direct hard push. So what I did to her was I gave her a wave. The wave makes the opponent think that the pressure's coming in one direction. And then as they respond, we talk about this all the time in sports push hands. So the more clear equivalent is we're here doing sports push hands for a second here. We're playing around, we're could be in a 50-50 clinch, right? And so what I'll do is I'll press, and I'll press a little bit to get a reaction. So I'll push the arm down. She's holding this arm up, not the one toward camera, so it's hard for you to see. But I press this arm as she pushes back. So it's an unconscious reaction that we want to get out of somebody. You press and they bounce back. You press again, they bounce back. And you're doing this while you might be moving your feet, and it's gentle touching. And once you know that when you touch the opponent and they're going to bounce back, that's when you set up a move that requires them to lift their arm. So you press down, they lift their arm, then maybe you come under and you do a throw of some sort, etc. Same concept is happening right here. Autumn did a direct push, so there was no bounce, there was no setup. For us, for what I did to her, I gave a wave. That wave caused her to push back, and I took the push that she pushed on me. So I gave her a little pressure, knowing that I was going to wave her up. As she pushes back, I wave it up and around and drill it back down into her. So it's the same concept applied at a different angle. One is more direct and overt, press and come back. The other one is a wave. This is really cool. I've never actually explained it like that before, so I'm very excited about that. Okay, press. And I'll do 3. We still have to switch legs. We haven't switched legs at all. And we're also going over time on what we said we're going to spend on push hands, but it's going to be fine. It's also important to note that when you have 2 players with long arms, both Autumn and I have very long arms. When you have 2 players with long arms, you may want to back up. So let's back away from camera, and you stay here, and then take a step back. Great. Great. So now we're going to play at a longer distance. So we've just shifted the range a bit. And with different ranges comes different techniques, slightly different strategy, or different strategy. There the wave is again, same concept. And this time she didn't react as much when I did the wave. So I did the little wave and she stayed relaxed. So I did the wave, she stayed relaxed, and all I'm doing is pushing against body, hard body, which means that I can't do the same technique that I wanted to do before. I couldn't get the reaction out of her. So that's exactly what you want. You want to evolve to not be so reactionary. And again, all this stuff is happening subconsciously until you make it conscious. So even that, what just happened there, we broke the structure because there was a fast reaction. So the fast reaction broke us out of the pattern. Why are we doing the pattern? So that we can learn from each other in a controlled setting. That is the only reason to do any of these patterns. So we want to learn the sensitivity, get the flexibility, etc., and be able to repeat over and over and over again. So really, really great stuff. If you have a partner that can be on the same wavelength as you. You want to be on the same wavelength as your partner. There's a bunch of people that don't. Let's keep going this direction. So we're keeping the same hands. There are a bunch of folks that don't do flow drills like this. And it was training with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with John Machado that made me love Jiu-Jitsu, because John Machado, when I first met him, emphasized flow drills. And it was seeing that Jiu-Jitsu also had flow drills that made me say, oh wow, like Jiu-Jitsu really is Tai Chi on the ground. My coaches are correct. You know, my coach Josh Waitskin brought me over there, and Dan Cosfield. So flow drills are so important, and if you can just have one person to zone out with and do this stuff, you're going to learn a lot. I had my dad. Living with somebody that you can do this with is of course the ideal, and if you don't, just being able to meet up with somebody several times a week and do it. And I said earlier, you know, you shouldn't be sparring every day or more than twice a week. I really feel like that, you know, more than twice a week can do a lot of damage to the body. But stuff like this, these types of flow drills, you know, I would do this as much as I could every day, which is what helped my dad and I advance. So there are things like this too that you just want to be cautious about when you're putting your arm out there. Get little arm bars, etc. You just want to be cautious about staying so relaxed that somebody can take advantage of you. So again, we're finding the delicate balance between overreaction and being non-reactive.
Why are you doing that?
Oh, the little bump.
Yeah.
That's great. Really extend through the shoulder blades. And when you extend through the shoulder blades, you make your arms, your body heavier without overcommitting weight by dropping your elbows. So that means that if you find yourself pushing the elbows are up, you have to drop the elbows to get the weight to drop. The elbows should feel like gravity's pulling them down, as if you have weights tied to your elbows. And that's how you bring the weight, transfer the weight into your opponent's hips.
Can you try a different method of moving my first push out of the way?
Sure. Go. Okay, so you have your second push. Okay, so push all the way. Here, we'll start from the beginning. And push. So, and really fully push slowly, slowly. Slow it down so you, and use your whole body, not just your arms. There you go. And fully active arm here. Boom. So the second you go here, you're already here.
Well, usually your arm's more towards me at that point.
Yeah, but right now it's not. So just focusing for right now. Okay, and don't move back until you feel pressure coming at you. Stay connected. So my knuckles just got caught on her throat. So you really want to be conscious of like the martial applications here too. Meaning that you don't want to guide someone's fist to your face. Notice that I'm always cupping the elbow so that I don't get cut by an elbow. If you do Muay Thai, I want to cup this elbow. It's right here. She could crack it across my face. She could throw her elbow into my hand and get my hand in my own face, which is a great idea to do. So transitioning, one thing we're still working on, because Autumn's still fairly new at this too. Keep your push going. So transitioning, let's start again from here. And do your push. Keep going all the way. Great. Now right here. So one thing that Autumn will benefit from is dropping her elbow down. Like literally dropping the elbow down to my belly and brushing across to bring the weight of the elbow, to drag it on my skin, to drag it on my muscles. So if you just exhale and drop and drag your elbow as you do the press, you're going to get a different result. So 1, 2. So I'm guiding her arm up and over more. So guide my arm up. So if I'm pushing, okay, I'm pushing that way? Sure. Okay, so here I am. So I'm up here, she guided my arm up. I have this other arm, which I'm going to drill into her. And I have this arm, which is up. So I'm going to drive the pressure. I'm not pushing so hard that I'm overcommitting. I'm just driving the pressure in. What that does is it helps to train you. Let's play freestyle for a second. Go. Here, showing the application of this. Boom, right here. Look at this drag I'm doing on her arm. The drag, whether it's done on the body or the arm or the shoulder, the same concept. I'm loading her hips with this drag. I'm loading her hips. I'm creating weight here. Now, of course, she could take advantage of this, but I'm also doing it on this side, and I'm switching up. I'm here, boom, here. She just hit me in the head with that. It's fine. So I'm dragging, and then I'll lift up and I'll stand, and then I'll drag again, and I'll keep on cycling between these. And I'll do my best not to do it in a pattern that's too on, 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't want to create rhythms that people can find the pocket within, and then break your rhythm. So, but you get that, one of those capabilities from moments like this, dragging, dropping the pressure on the partner. Go for it. Let me do one more push. Okay, go.
Whenever I do something like that, you say strokes, focus on breathing.
What's that? So we're in short range right now. I'm also trying to stay on camera. So if you notice me like squeezing a bit, Autumn is also giving me great pressure right now. So my feet are not very long. So can you take a half step back, Autumn? Just half step. You got room. Great. That was a quarter step. Half step.
Well, I don't want to be off the carpet.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. I'm going to step in and I'm going to step back. Okay, let's go.
But then my stance is short.
It's okay. I'm the one who's dealing with a particular challenge, so I'm fixing the challenge. Boom. So the challenge was right here on this elbow.
Watch out for my
You okay?
Thank you.
So one thing that you have to be recognize that Autumn's pushing harder now, and so
Well, I'm trying to drag, like you said.
sure, the experience I'm receiving is harder and more aggressive. So when someone's going harder and more aggressive, obviously you want to be able to softly redirect them. But sometimes if you don't catch the rhythm, she got me before I caught the rhythm early to redirect her earlier, and when I am trying to do that, she's pressing through the redirection. So she's kind of forcing the push in. And that's where the more precise martial experiences start to happen. You'll notice that several times I've come across on her elbows. Why am I going on her elbows? Or on her wrists and pushing down like that? Because it hurts. And when something hurts, someone will stop doing it. So it's an important thing to be able to have in your repertoire, to know when the volume starts to escalate to a point where especially in parks where you have people that may come and challenge you. That's like a Tai Chi thing, and it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. But a lot of folks, especially if they haven't played sports push hands, will start to, they want to get a good workout, they want to feel really great about their Tai Chi, etc. They'll start doing all these cute things that are not necessarily martial, and some of this stuff actually is martial. But when they start doing things that are not, that are, egregious, I do my best to make sure that I start to put small, safe pressures on them to give them a signal that, hey, if you keep doing this, you're probably going to get hurt. And I don't mean that I'm going to hurt you intentionally. The whole point is that, hey, you know what, this is a bad habit to just press in and ignore my arm here, etc. And then someone may say, oh, well, that's not push hands. Well, then you start getting into a whole conversation that leaves us off the path.
Can I try?
Sure, try what?
If you go too hard on me, can I try?
Yeah, well, at any given point, you should be pulling out little things to remind me. So, and all I'm doing is going against joints. That's the only thing that's happened. If I'm pressing you too intensely, if I press you intensely, exactly, you start to press down and push up. Perfect. So now the thing you want to do is while you're getting pushed back, is to allow the pushback and step into the position. In other words, here, you're getting pushed back, you're getting pushed back, so step and get yourself into a nice position that'll allow you to use your hip to roll this over as leverage.
Okay.
So if I'm you, push me. If I'm you and I'm getting pushed, so push me hard. So I might step like this. I notice that I stepped into this roll.
That's fantastic in my back.
Okay, well, we don't want to hurt your shoulder though. So like, I'm stepping into the roll. And the concept, again, is only going against the joint. So you're training all this sensitivity, you get used to knowing where the joints go, and then you know where they don't go. So when you put pressure against the joints, you can be very creative. And that's part of the value of push hands, is the creativity that you can find. And I also would say jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu has a great level of creativity, which is why you see so many like the moves evolving over the last several decades. So it's, you really want to be able to innovate on your own. So that was about to happen. So Autumn had me here. So this is a big push. Now look what I have here. I have her elbow, right? But I can't, I could pull it up, it pulls it into me. I can push it in, but she's still got this. So what do? I drop my shoulder on her wrist and I put pressure on the joint. It's called crimping. So I do this and I bring this in just to pull that down, to give me an extra second to take more space here. And then I can clear it and do what I'd like. Here, let's play freestyle for a second so we can. So we're doing freestyle fixed step, which means that we're only playing to make the person move, to make someone step. So it's a space control game. It's like a gun game where it's very fast space control. You can do it slowly as well, but the sport of it's very much sped up. So once I get her to step, we reset. And how is it applicable? Well, the whole concept is like, hey, you're in a tight space. You want someone. You may have to, be in danger, etc. Being able to move someone where you want them to move. Maybe you want to knock somebody into a table or into the street in traffic, etc. Obviously, you don't really want to do that in real life, but like if you need to for your life, etc. To be able to control when a person steps and where someone steps is a great skill. It's a skill that most martial arts do not focus on. So Tai Chi does focus specifically on that in the form of fixed step push hands, which is what we're doing right now. So that was a moment of you doing the arm. I felt you doing the elbow down. So all I did was I took her hand and I felt her pulling the elbow down. So I just threw the hand in the same timing of her dropping the elbow, because she created a rhythm. She went 1, 2, and then I went 3. If you take a note on that one, she was pulling my arm down and had a grip right here. So I used her body to get the grip off by reaching behind her while she was holding the grip. She was holding.
Actually trying to push you through.
Okay. But for the second that you had the grip, that's when I reached behind, and that's when I got you disconnect the back leg. What was that?
I don't know. I feel like I could give you a butt bump on my way out.
Well, if you've seen King of Fighters, if you play that game, you'll know what Mai does as a character. It's a very similar move.
What is it?
She does like a butt bump.
I figured if I can get you to move, at least maybe it will be no point.
Very nice. That was great. So what Autumn just did here was she inflated her elbows to cause me to reach and pull them out. And then as I put my attention there, she expanded her fingertips and allowed the forearms to fill my chest. So that was really, really awesome.
I thought I moved you, but it was just me.
Switch legs. So pushing an opponent's limbs behind the hip line, this is the hip line right here. Imaginary strings, or imaginary line comes out of your hips to the side. When you push someone's arms or elbows, their hands or elbows behind the hip line, you get them to start disconnecting this front leg. You see how she's disconnecting that front leg? So that helps you turn them on the back leg to get them to step.
Okay.
So the last one, put her arm in her face. That causes a cover mobility issue for most people. And this that was the second last one. This last one, I gently lifted into her ribs. Again, using someone's arm. When someone pushes your arm into you, it becomes really annoying and challenging in general. So it's a...
I don't want to be humiliated step by step on camera anymore.
Okay. Well, let's slow it down with a little more light and stuff. And you know what? I want to make sure Autumn always has weapons. Obviously, the first weapon and the most valuable weapon is your sensitivity. So just training yourself, which has to do with your mind. It has to do with you changing the way you react to things, to react to pressure. So only move when someone's pressing you. Here in this particular drill, that is the purpose of this exercise. You give the pressure back, and then only roll back when you feel the pressure from your partner, to create this flowing movement or series of movements. And within this series of movements, remember 2 pushes, 2 rollbacks, there's all these different angles you can play from. Lower and higher, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. So, and that's part of the reason why it's so valuable to do the Tai Chi form, because you're going to reference your Tai Chi form for those options. If you are a grappler, you can still play with this, or from any other martial art, you can still do this. You just won't necessarily have the same type of thinking toward the options that the form provides, the different postures that you can utilize in a game like this, but also in any type of grappling or martial experience to create and redirect pressure, neutralize, redirect, etc. So I recommend the Tai Chi form. But having weapons, little moves that you can pull out. The first one I learned was the standing armbar here, rolling the tricep up and getting the taking the wrist across. So your belly, hips, waist, all of it happening at the same time. And so that's something I really want Autumn to find in the rhythm, because it's a rhythmic movement. And so you find it in the rhythm and being able to find it in the body mechanic. So the body mechanic, if she has this hand, wherever the wrist is, the hand that's on top of the wrist will leverage it down, and the hand that's by the elbow or near the tricep will leverage it over. Notice that because she pushed on my elbow, it's a slightly different angle. Doesn't mean it's bad. She's still turning me. That's great. That's something that she can do intentionally. But if she were to roll slightly more up on the center of my tricep, notice that she gets my shoulder to roll forward. And if she keeps doing that and uses the waist power, because right now she's only using her arms, and that's great, she's using all of the arm, which is great, but part of it disconnected, so it caused her to slide up. So you want to slide me forward so that my body comes forward. And it does feel like a nice stretch on the back, you're right.
When done, yeah.
Right there. Boom. Good stuff.
And I'm supposed to do a step, right, as I'm doing it?
No.
Because at this, I feel a little unbalanced. From this.
I don't step. Definitely don't do that. Like, you can step, but the discipline of this exercise is to find your posture where this works. It should work even here. Boom. So it shouldn't cost you a lot to adjust your hips and adjust your feet. Like right now, your back foot is like this. So this, which it should be parallel, meaning both your feet are parallel. Her back foot was at 45 degrees, which is actually a common way to do this exercise. But since this is Wu style has your feet parallel because it's simply harder. It is a harder thing to do. So I recommend using that opportunity if you are going to play with the back foot 45 degrees. Use this opportunity here to pivot your back foot, not the front foot, the back. Yeah. So pivot your back foot with the movement,
Okay.
so that you get.
But I'm still in the A-frame.
Yep. And I don't even worry so much about the A-frame, because now you've broken the pattern. So if you break the pattern, get into the comfortable posture for you, without stepping. So try to keep the discipline as much as possible. So I'm not in an A-frame right now. I'm literally I'm in my more my hybrid between the Wu style and Yang style, like very rooted stance. So let's try the other side. So let's keep the same hands. Push, and then push again here. Now you can do it on this roll back too. Yep, awesome, good stuff. So
this drill will help me notice the moments in live play more easily to do that.
Yeah, so it's very rare. Someone has to be, quite honestly, at a very low level to get that move on them at all. Like they probably don't have an understanding of like martial mechanics if you can get that move on them. And yeah, I mean, maybe there's some people that are more sophisticated that you can get that move on, but I don't find that unless I'm playing with someone who has no idea how to slide out of certain things, like there's that dragon whips its tail move that we were doing, that warm up, that's like the basic way to get your arm out of this lock. So do the move on me. So if someone starts doing this to me, I'm not even going to go into the dramatic version of dragon whips its tail coming over. That's really dramatic. So, which if you need to do, it's fine. But if you start doing this, I'm going to drop my hip and drop my elbow because I don't want that happening. So the second I feel the evolution, I'm like, oh crap. So I drop down. So here, go for the roll. So you have it here too. So push one. Great, push two. So I'll push one and roll me. Yep, awesome. So you have me here. So if this is happening here, I'm going to drop my elbow down. I'm going to do my best to. And because it's an uncomfortable stretch also. So that's part of the reason that it makes it easier to get yourself to safety, because safety feels more physically comfortable. Sure, I'm going to do it on you and you're going to escape.
Okay.
Okay, ready, press. 1, 2, just keep going. Oh, drop the elbow, drop your hip. Good stuff. Awesome. So see how we go right back to flow, which is actually pretty fantastic. 1, 2. Drop the, yes, awesome. 1, boom. See, boom.
This one.
So yeah, I got you on that one. Then I let up. So let's keep going.
For this one, I do the same move.
Same exact concept. Yep. And that's the cool thing about safety. In my experience in martial arts, safety is actually a handful of things. There's not a lot of stuff you need to do to keep yourself safe. It's like, okay, well, I know I need to drop my elbow to get out of most arm locks. That's really like, let me get my elbow as close to my body as possible, drop it, and take away a leverage point. So that's super helpful. Oh, okay, I need to control my opponent's elbows no matter what they're doing to stay safe from an arm. And recognizing the evolution of certain moves early is key. And that doesn't mean that I can get out of any move. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is that there's a handful of things that have kept me safe across all martial experiences. And, as I was telling Autumn a few days ago, I still remember being very terrified of the high crotch, a wrestling move that I'm not very good at doing. I've done maybe once or twice. I'm not good at doing it, and I hate having it done on me. So, you know, there's this great video of me in a tournament where a guy catches me with a high crotch, but then the ref calls him on a foul. And I was like, oh my god, I was like so thankful because I was terrified. I don't want to get a freaking body slammed by a high crotch, it would suck. I mean, I've gotten suplexed before at tournaments, which is not nearly as bad as it looks. Suplexes, it's actually quite comfortable. Comforting experience. Okay, good stuff. Very, very nice. Good stuff. Okay, so up to heaven, we'll do let's see. We're going to get another 10 minutes in of training or so. I said we're going to do shadowboxing, and let's get some shadowboxing. Let's do it. Can I use your timer?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do some shadowboxing. Really, really nice doing this stuff. And I want to sweat more, so let's see. I'm just going to put a stopwatch on, and we're just going to go for it. And we're going to go in and out. So we just went from push hands to sensitivity. We just went from being really soft and stationary and rooted into the ground, and now I'm bringing out the boxing footwork. So that boxing footwork, I'm going forward and back. Imagine there's a line here. I go in front of the line and behind the line. Only with the front leg. Front leg goes in front of the line, front leg goes behind the line. So I want to really start bringing out, and switch legs, really start bringing out the dynamism of the movement, because at any given time you want to be able to drop into that solid stance. Just drop into your solid stance and then bring the footwork back. If you really want a wonderful example of this, you know, I do recommend watching my videos. I do this a lot. But Tuishou Chen, 16-time world champ, one of the greatest push-ass players that ever lived, in my opinion. I think it's everybody's opinion. He does this so beautifully. Switch legs again. So he'll play on the balls of his feet, which is not a very quote-unquote Tai Chi thing to do. And then he'll drop right down to the stance and have the rooted capability. So it's really great. Beautiful video. I'm not sure if it's online of him. I think it is. Him and Marcelo Garcia, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Really amazing match. And, you know, very friendly, casual game. And there's two different players, two different sports. You know, Tai Chi push hands, quite honestly, is not a finishing sport. I love Tai Chi push hands, my favorite sport of all time, but it's not a finishing sport. That means that it's not built to finish someone, to knock them out or make them submit. It is not built for that. It's built for space control and being able to transition between various moments, martial moments. And I love that. Switch again. I love that about Tai Chi push hands. I do jiu-jitsu as well. Obviously, I've fought Sancho before, and you know, I love those things as well. Tai Chi is my favorite, keeps me the healthiest, and the most fit, I find. Especially with all the rest of the Tai Chi system, the form, the Neigong, all that really leads to longevity. But I recommend integrating Tai Chi with any martial arts, which, again, that you do. So we're just warming up the legs for a 3-minute round, in and out. My back foot is on the ball, so the heel doesn't touch. I let the heel touch in the front sometimes, but I'm really staying on the balls of my feet here. Keeping my hands up, the 11s. Three seconds. And now, switch legs, jab, cross. Just start doing, if you do, notice I'm doing disconnected breath. I talk about this as well. So I'm doing disconnected breath right now. That means I'm not inhaling, exhaling. I'm not connecting my breath fully yet. I'm just getting some movement and rhythm down. I'm playing a rhythm game right now with my hands. So most people that I know will play the rhythm game and they'll connect their breath for like power and things like that, but they'll mostly play the rhythm game. Rhythm game is really important, but being able to connect the breath to the rhythm game is different. Really different and beautiful. So every movement having a breath and visualization connected to it is great. Really, really helpful. And I want to take it light. Again, I'm still recovering from a couple of car accidents. So I'm doing my best switching legs to keep my movement light, rhythmic, get a nice stretch in, recover the back muscles. And of course, when you're doing boxing and things like that, don't be limited to, boxing is the most efficient hand art, period. I love boxing. American boxing is awesome. However, it's important to recognize the value of uncommon angles, uncommon strikes, and being able to bring things like Wing Chun into your boxing movements, which a lot of JKD practitioners do very well. So being able to bring the trapping in. The first time I ever hit somebody, sparring, made someone like in their nosebleed was because of JKD. Was because of, really Wing Chun. My father taught me Wing Chun. 1, 2, so parry, parry, strike. Just 1, 2, 3. Knock the jab down, knock the cross down, and jab right back. And that helped me a lot. So helped me build my confidence when I was younger, and recognizing that, hey, all of these martial concepts have validity based, depending on a situation. Not everything is going to work all the time. That's why you study different arts. That's why you respect everybody's art. You have to have respect for everybody's art, because all these arts have some value. You can't just say that one thing is better than the other, or one thing doesn't work, or you've never met somebody that, I never met a guy that does Tai Chi that can fight or anything like that. That's all nonsense. Like, you have to use these things. It's really the practitioner, as Bruce Lee says. It's really about the person doing it, how they're playing together, pattern recognition, movement, athleticism, breath work, visualization, and ideally, good intentions. So, using your martial arts with the best intentions to stand up for all the good things in the world. That's awesome. So, alright, so let's bring, just lost the timer there. So now we're going to start bringing some kicks in. Start bringing up the knees, checking, just warming up the hips. Going to do 10 of these. I'm going to open up from inside to out and down, inside to out and down. Notice that I'm not stepping with, I'm opening up and then I'm shifting. So I normally do this slower, but because we've started to speed it up already, you touch the heel down, then you shift. Touch down, then you shift. You don't want to drop your weight without knowing where or what you're stepping on. So it's called walking like a tiger, which means you're testing the ground to make sure it's firm before you put your weight on it. Very important concept, pretty much for every single step you take every day. And now we're going to go from behind to forward. Just lifting it up. Here we're basically just opening up the hips, but we're going to make this a little bit more martial. Now we're going to reach on the side and bring it in. 1, 2, side, up. So Muay Thai, hitting with the inside of the knee to the liver or the kidneys. Bam. Liver, spleen, kidneys, hitting on the side, the floating rib. Taking the head, the opponent, the neck, and you're pulling them to the strike. Maybe you push them one way and you pull them into it. Inhale, exhale. And agreeing with your center line awareness, that imaginary string lifts you from the top of the head that we always talk about when we train Tai Chi. Boom. You bring all of it right to the center line. Deviate, back to center. 5 more. Beautiful. Now we're going to get some elbows. I want to make sure I have just about to die on power. So let me plug this in real quick. Right here, 1%. Look at that save. And you know what? We're just going to drop down since I'm plugged in and hold plank for a moment. Hold a minute of plank. Make sure the abs are activated as well as the lower back, so that the suspension bridge function of your lower back, so it's not falling down and that the butt is not too high up, it's balanced. And we're going to use the breathwork and visualization as well. You can inhale, draw the color in, the breath as a color through the palms and into the belly, almost like you're absorbing from the floor. Or you can just see the color come into the nose and gather in the belly, and exhale and wash color into the floor through the palms and fingertips. Again, these visualization exercises while you train are very helpful at mapping pressure and more through your body into other objects and from other objects back into you. And coming up, walk the feet in. We're just going to start stretching now. Fold the arms and hang. Shift the weight to the right side. Shift the weight to the left side. And sit, put the forearms above the knees, drop down, and open up. Bring the feet in, walk it in, fold the arms and hang. Right hand to the left foot, inhale up, look at the left finger, middle finger. Exhaling down, inhaling up, left hand to right foot, look at the right finger. Exhaling down, switch, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Sucking the belly button, come up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale, going down. And drop the knee. Relaxing for 10 seconds and breathing into it. And inhaling up, switch legs. Knee down, toes back. Open up the hips. Sucking the belly button, lift the collarbone if you want to increase the experience and stretch. Inhale, come up, switch again. This time we're going to keep the back leg up. Up and down. Inhale, deep. And switch. Inhale deep, tuck the belly button into the collarbone. And coming up. Try to reach the hands through the legs as much as you can. Put the palm on the floor, that's great. Tuck the belly button and lift the collarbone. Almost like you're pulling your body through the legs, but be very gentle. Shouldn't actually feel like a big pull at all. And keep the palms down. We're going to bring one leg behind the other and sit. One arm across the knee and up. You're going to do this kind of rear naked choke posture. Make sure that both the hips or sit bones are flat on the floor. It means where the pelvis meets the femur, pulling the knee to your chest. and then lifting the collarbone to straighten the back. Inhale deep. Inhale deep, feel the stretch. Inhale deep. Exhale, switch sides. Inhale deep. Exhale. Inhale deep. Switch. Feet together. Lift the collarbone. Do your best to bring your body forward. Suck the belly button and lift the collarbone. Drop the forehead. Go as far down as you can. Or into the feet. Grab the toes and come forward. And pull. Suck the belly button, lift the collarbone. Exhale. Relax. Tuck the belly button in, come up. Inhaling out. Inhale deep. Exhale forward. Walking the fingers forward, walking to one side, forehead to the knee. To the other side. Back to center, tuck the belly button in, coming up. Almost dinner time, so just switch up, inhaling up, exhaling down. Tuck the belly button in, collarbone. Walk the forehead to the knee. One side, inhale deep, exhale. And to the other side. Inhale deep. Tuck the belly button in, coming up, up, up. Relax the belly. Relax the body. Inhale to the belly. Uplifting heaven. Exhale, wash out. Inhale, push off the thigh, and reach, stretch. Try to keep the spine straight, even if it's on an angle. Straight, and then reach to the other side. Gentle. Reach. Straight. One more time. Each side. Very gentle. One more time. Inhale to the belly. White light. Spread the whole body. Into the belly. Take a big bubble of light. One more time. Spread the light as far as you can all around you. And gratitude to the body. Good people in your life, the space you're in. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a wonderful evening. I will be back streaming tomorrow. And I hope you've enjoyed that. And like I said, if you have any thoughts, questions, or ideas, please put them in the comments, or I will play this again on YouTube. So if you want to find a replay there, and it's not on TikTok, you'll see it there. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. And please subscribe if you don't already, and for more training, and I love you. And I have daily 3 videos a day on YouTube that come out scheduled every day. So if you like that kind of stuff, please follow. Love you. Bye.